Welcome to the second part of the video. And if you haven't seen the first part yet, I would recommend seeing that first. Link to the first part would be in the description box and on the I button as well. So let's finish what we started and jump right into it. So let's move back to the PowerApps interface. Since we now have the PowerAutomate flow in place, all we need to figure out is how to pass those parameters to that flow and how to display the results back in PowerApps. Okay, so let's worry about the result part first. So since the output that PowerAutomate will send is going to be in HTML format, I'm going to insert an HTML text box here on the form, and this specific control is going to be used to display that result. Okay, and the way we are going to fetch that or trigger that PowerAutomate flow is using this button right here. So I'll just rename it to say get history. All right, and we are going to point this HTML text box here to a variable called var1. Oh, okay. So let's first configure the rest of the things. Okay. So on this button, what we want to do is we want to do an action, and to be more precise, a PowerAutomate action. Okay, so when I click this, it's going to look up any PowerAutomate flow that I've created to take inputs from PowerApps. So I'm going to select this one that we just created. So it's working to add it to this specific PowerApp instance. It has been added now. So now you will see that automatically it is showing me this option that says fetch history2, which is the name of the PowerAutomate flow that we created, .run. But I want to do it in a little different way. I just want to do a set command where I'm setting the variable called var1 with this value. So now I'll say fetch history2.run, and I now have to pass on all the parameters that I promised to give. So let me put that quickly. I already have written it down to save time. So I'm passing the name of the site, the URL of the site, the name of the custom list, the column which has the history stored, and the current item ID. For that, I'm using this formula, which is the SharePoint integration dot selected list item ID. So when somebody presses this button, it's going to set a variable var1 from using this specific PowerAutomate flow. So whatever result is being returned, whatever result is being returned in this step will be stored in this variable called var1. And now I'm going to point this to var1 dot result. So I am setting the variable 1 on the press of this button, and then I'm setting the value of this box to var1 dot result. That sounds about right. So let's go back to our SharePoint site and see if this has worked. Let me refresh and clear my cache. So I'll try and edit this specific item. I still don't see that button. I guess I need to refresh it once again. All right, so now I see this button that says get history. So if I click this button, it's running that PowerAutomate flow, getting the result and displaying it in that specific box. Just to show you a demo, if I type one more text here And if I save it, yeah. So now when I go back to this form again, and since I've not written a code to refresh this box, so it is showing the value that has been previously stored. But we can make an arrangement where this clears up every time the form loads, and I'll show you that trick as well. But for now, let me just click on this get history, and as you can see, the comment that I just made has been added to this history, and then you still have that clean comments box for somebody to write a new entry here. So that's the whole idea here, to have a clean box so that anybody commenting here can see the history of comments or inputs that was given to the specific field, and still being able to mark their own comments. Yeah, so this seems right, seems to be working. Now, one more thing that I want to implement here is to not base this loading of this specific control on this button, but I would want to load these as soon as the form loads. But that would only happen because this is a history field, so that would only happen in case of an item edit. Having a history field showing values on an item create does not make any sense, because the first version of any item would not have any history to show. So that's one thing we need to keep in mind. With that, let's go back to our PowerApps interface and see if we can make that arrangement. So the first thing we got to do is we got to clear that box every time the form loads, yeah, so that it shows up neatly. So let me get rid of this button because I want to do it a little different way. Okay, but let me first write that function. So I wanna modify the on edit event here. Right now it just says edit form SharePoint form 1, which is my form here. I wanna first reset the variable var1. So I will write the command set, and I'll say set var1 to a blank function. So blank function is basically going to clear off whatever is there in the var1 variable, and I want to load var1 with the new value, the value that we'll get from the fetch history to PowerAutomate flow. So whatever command we wrote for this specific button, we just need to replicate that. So yeah, so let me show you in detail. So on form edit, three things are going to happen. One, it is going to clear var1 variable, then it's going to load the edit version of the SharePoint form 1, which is our form here, and once that happens, it's also going to set var1 again with the output of fetch history to the PowerAutomate flow with the new value, and that in turn is going to light up our HTML box because HTML text is being pointed to var1.result. So let me publish this again and see if our little trick has worked. So if I click on this here and say edit, I still see this button, so I guess it has not refreshed. Refresh it once again, still see the button. My god. Oh, I still see the button because I did not remove it. Okay, let me remove it first. So going back to PowerApps again, I'm sorry for this. I just need to remove that button just to be sure. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this, publish it again. Okay, clearing my cache, and editing it again, still see that button. Is 3 my lucky number? I guess so. So now if you notice, as soon as the form loads, it's running that Power Automate flow and giving me those results. So now if I write something 6 here and save it, next time when I open it, next time when I edit it, automatically that comment will come up in the history with this comments one as a clean box. So I think our nice little trick worked. And the beauty of this approach, like I said, is that we can, you might have like 6 fields in this same form or maybe any other form. Okay. But you can apply the same rule and the same workflow, sorry, the same flow for all the 6 fields. All you need to do is just change the parameters. All you got to do is just in this neat little comment that we had, sorry, neat little formula that we've written, we just need to pass the correct parameters and store it in a different variable. So let's say I had 3 more fields with history stored in them. I could use 3 different variables, var1, var2, var3, and I could fetch the values for them using the same fetch history too, because it is kind of very generic. All you have to do is you have to send it the name of the site, the list, the column, and that specific ID. So that's the beauty of this specific approach. I hope this video was helpful to you, and if you like it, please like this video and the entire series, and also subscribe to this channel. I plan some more videos on Power Apps, Power Automate, Python, and things like that. So thank you for watching this video and have a good one. Thank you so much. Bye bye.